They say Thailand changes you. I used to roll my eyes when I heard that. I figured most of the guys saying it were just drunk, broke, or chasing something they couldn't name. But now I know. I came here just to clear my head, to sit by the ocean, drink cheap beer, maybe flirt with a smile or two. I wasn't looking for anything. Not love. Definitely not something real. But what I found knocked the wind out of me. It wasn't loud or fast. It was slow, steady, and honest. For the first time in decades, someone saw me. Not my wallet, not my past, just me. And I almost destroyed it. I was too used to running, too used to being alone. But she didn't let go. Not at first. And maybe that's why it hurt even more when I realized how close I came to losing her. This is the story of how I fell in love with a woman who didn't ask for anything and gave me everything. I walked into the hotel lobby just after 9 p.m. The glass doors slid shut behind me, and I stood there for a second, staring at the marble floor. It was polished like everything else in this place. Spotless, quiet, too clean. I dropped my duffel by the front desk. The young woman behind the counter smiled and said, "Long flight, yes?" I nodded. "You come to relax?" I shrugged. "Something like that." She tilted her head and laughed a little. "Maybe you find someone too?" I forced a smile. Not likely. But I felt something shift in my chest when she said that. I don't know why. Maybe it was the way she said it, like it wasn't a joke. The room was nicer than I expected. White linens, sliding glass door, balcony view of the ocean. I tossed my bag on the chair and sat at the edge of the bed. My shoes stayed on. I just stared out at the night, the water catching whatever light was left from the street lamps. I didn't unpack. I didn't turn on the TV. I just sat there and let it all settle. 3 months ago, I signed the retirement papers. 2 months ago, my ex-wife sent me an invite to her wedding. 2 weeks ago, I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. I told everyone it was just for a break. Deep down, I knew it was more than that. I hadn't touched anyone in over 5 years, not in a way that felt like it mattered. I hadn't looked someone in the eye without thinking they wanted something from me. "Why Thailand?" my son had asked. I told him, "It's warm, it's far, that's enough." He didn't press. "We're not close." I lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. There was a ceiling fan, spinning slow. I closed my eyes. But the silence was too loud. Not even the waves could cover it. I thought about calling someone, maybe Jim back home. But what would I say? "Hey, I made it, the hotel's clean. I'm still alone." The next morning, I stood by the breakfast buffet with a plate full of food I didn't want. The same receptionist walked by and said, "Today you go beach?" I nodded. "Probably." She smiled again. "Don't stay inside all day. Phuket not for sleeping." I watched her walk away. Young, polite, probably used to guys like me. Older, pale, pretending they still had a spark left. But something about the way she said that stuck with me. Like maybe I wasn't done yet. Maybe I still had one more good story left in me. I finished my coffee and looked out the window. The sun had climbed higher. The ocean sparkled in a way that felt too pretty to waste. I didn't know where I was going yet, but for the first time in months, I wanted to find out. I wasn't planning to stop. I'd only come out to walk, maybe grab a bottle of water and keep moving. But the smell of grilled meat and lemongrass pulled me toward the night market. The air was thick, humid, and buzzing with life. I drifted between stalls without looking at anything too long. Then I saw her. She was standing behind a small table, soaps stacked like candy. No flashing lights, no music, just her, focused, folding brown paper bags. Her hair was tied back, face calm, like nothing around her could shake her. "You like lavender?" she asked without looking up. I blinked. "What?" She looked at me and smiled. "You've been standing here 2 minutes. You smell everything." Lavender's best seller. I laughed a little, caught off guard. "You got one that makes you forget your mistakes." She tilted her head. Maybe mix lemongrass with regret?" I don't know why, but I said, How much for a bar of that? 3 for 100, she said, handing me a small paper bag, but no refund for old memories. I paid her. Not because I needed soap, I hadn't even used the hotel one yet, but because I didn't want to leave the conversation. Where are you from? She asked. And now, nowhere. She nodded slowly. Sometimes, that's a good place to start. That hit me harder than I expected. I opened my mouth, then closed it. You live here? I asked. Only sometimes, she said. I was born in Chiang Rai, came here to help my sister after her baby. I nodded. And the soap? My aunt taught me, she said. She used to make it during monsoon season. Now I make it when I'm bored. I glanced around. You don't look bored. I'm not, she said gently. Not tonight. I don't know what made me ask, but I said, would you like a coffee? She blinked. You buy soap? And now coffee too? I raised both hands. You're right. That sounded smoother in my head. She smiled, then glanced at her stall. I close in 1 hour. If you still want coffee, wait. I'll be back, I said. No, she corrected. Wait. Here. So I did. I walked off, looped around, came back, and stood there like an idiot pretending to look at mangoes across from her. Every few minutes she'd glance up and smirk like she knew exactly what I was doing. At 9:30 she packed up. I didn't say a word. She walked past me and said, There's a small place behind the temple, not for tourists. I followed her. Quiet side street kind of place. Wooden benches, one old man running the counter. She ordered hot tea. I got iced coffee. You travel alone? She asked. Yeah. Why? I hesitated. I think I got tired of answering people who don't actually care how I'm doing. She didn't speak for a while. Then she said, I understand. We sat in silence for a bit. Then I asked, What's your name? Mally, she said. It means Jasmine. I'm Mark. She nodded. You look like a mark. I raised an eyebrow. What does a mark look like? Like someone who thinks too much before smiling, she said, sipping her tea. I laughed. And you? You smile too easily. Only when I want to, she said. It wasn't a date, not really, but something about it felt different. We talked for an hour. Then she stood. I walk this way, she said. I'll see you again? I asked. She shrugged. You're still in Phuket, right? I nodded. Then maybe. I watched her disappear into the night. I didn't move for a long time, and for the first time since I landed, I didn't feel like a tourist anymore. I went back the next night. I didn't even try to pretend I had other plans. I just showered, put on a clean shirt, and walked straight to the night market. Her stall was already open, candles flickering under the jars and soaps. She saw me from 10 steps away and smiled. Not surprised, not flirtatious, just like she expected me to come back. You're late, she said. I checked my watch. It's 7:10. Late, she repeated, sliding a plastic chair behind the table toward me. Sit. You look tired. I sat. Didn't sleep much. Too much thinking, she said. She handed me a cup of iced chrysanthemum tea before I could even ask for anything. You remembered, I said. You didn't order coffee, she said. You just copied me the second time. I laughed, busted. She didn't say anything after that for a while. She just folded small paper bags and restacked her soap boxes. You don't talk much, do you? I asked. I talk when it matters, she said. Talking too much is like putting too much salt in soup. I nodded slowly. Makes sense. I guess I used to be the opposite. She glanced up. Used to? I think I got tired of hearing myself explain things, I said. I spent most of my life trying to prove I was worth something. I don't have that energy anymore. She looked at me then. Really looked. Your wife made you feel like that? I froze. Divorced, I said finally. 5 years now. She leave? Not really, I said. We just stopped being in it. She moved on. I stayed where I was. She nodded. Sometimes the body stays, but the spirit already leaves. I sipped my drink. The street noise blurred behind us. What about you? I asked. Anyone you're trying to forget? She paused. No, I never give enough for someone to take from me. I looked at her. She said it like it was just fact, not cold, not sad, just how she was built. Must be lonely, I said. It's safer, she replied. I wanted to say more. I wanted to ask why she let me come back then, why she shared tea with me, but I didn't want to scare it off. She stood. I close early tonight. You hungry? Always, I said. We walked 5 minutes to a small noodle stall. She ordered for both of us, didn't ask what I wanted. I liked that. As we sat on plastic stools, she looked at me again. Why did you really come to Thailand? I looked down at my spoon. Because no one here knows who I used to be. She didn't speak. She let the silence hold. I worked my whole life, I said. Built something I thought mattered, then watched it get cut in half by a divorce lawyer. She stirred her soup. You came to forget? I came to feel quiet, I said. But I didn't expect to want to talk to anyone again. She smiled softly. That's good. I think I also forgot how to talk. We ate the rest in silence, the kind that didn't feel awkward. After dinner, we walked slowly back toward the market. She stopped at the edge. You'll come again tomorrow? She asked. If you want me to, I said. I didn't say I won't, she replied, a small grin tugging at her lips. I asked. I smiled. Then yes, I'll be here. She nodded once. Good. She turned and walked into the crowd. And right then, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not excitement, not lust. I felt seen. She texted me in the morning, just 4 words. Come see my side. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. I didn't even ask what she meant. I just said yes. She met me by the roundabout near the temple, no makeup, her hair tied back, a canvas bag on her shoulder. You ready? She asked. Ready for what? I said. To see where I don't sell soap, she said. She flagged a motorbike taxi and waved me to sit behind her. I didn't argue. We rode for 15 minutes, away from the beaches, away from the neon, until the streets turned quieter, more local. Cracked sidewalks, clotheslines, kids playing with sticks, no tourists. We stopped in front of a concrete house with a faded pink gate. This is my sister's place, she said. We stay here sometimes. A small woman opened the door, holding a baby on her hip. This Mark? She asked. Molly nodded. He's okay. That's all it took. She let me in like I'd been there before. The house smelled like boiled rice and something sweet. Sit, Molly said. No need to act polite, no one here watching. I sat on the couch, the kind that sinks too deep. Her sister handed me a glass of water and said, She never brings anyone here, not even Thai guys. Molly gave her a look. Stop. The sister laughed and walked off. We didn't stay long. Molly said we'd go walk the area, get food. Not restaurant food, real food, she said. We ended up at a corner stall where a woman grilled chicken over a rusted drum. 2 with sticky rice, Molly told her. We sat on a bench with no backrest, the kind that rocks when you shift too hard. She handed me a plastic bag of chili sauce. Don't put too much, you're still so... I asked, You bring many people here? She didn't answer right away. Then she said, You think I'm showing you something for you. But this is just my life. I don't bring people to my life, I live it. We walked after that, quiet streets. A dog barked from a rooftop. She grabbed my hand without warning. Street's busy, she said. But it wasn't. I didn't say anything, I just held on. I started doing math in my head. Soap stall income, rent, cost of living. I started remembering those forums back home, the ones that said, never trust a girl who's too kind, too beautiful, too free. I hated that I thought of that. She stopped walking and turned to me. Why, your hand got cold. I shook my head, just thinking. She didn't buy it. I don't need your help, she said. Not money, not rescue, not your past. If you're here to save something, find another girl, I said. I didn't mean it like that. You did, she said. Maybe not loud, but you thought it. And that's okay. Just say it. I looked at her and said, I don't want to be used. She nodded. Then don't use me either. Don't use me to fix your loneliness. I'm not medicine. That shut me up. We kept walking. She didn't let go of my hand. We passed a small shop with dusty fans in the window. She pointed. That was my first job, 17. No fan, just sweat. And men who stared too long, I said. Is that why you keep distance? She looked at me. I don't. Keep distance. I keep truth. If you stay, stay because you like who I am when I'm not trying. I couldn't argue with that. I didn't want to. We reached a small bridge. She leaned on the rail and looked at the canal. Everyone wants something, but it's rare to find someone who doesn't want more. I asked, and what do you want? She smiled without looking at me. Peace? Laughing? Not thinking too much. I stood beside her. I didn't touch her this time. I said, I can give you peace, but I'm still learning how. She turned to me. You don't need to save me. Just be kind. That line stayed in my head the rest of the day, and for the first time since meeting her, I wasn't scared of what she wanted from me. I was scared of what I might ruin. I don't know why I brought it up. We were sitting by the canal again, plastic cups of iced tea sweating on the railing. The sun was lower than usual, and she had her hair tucked under a blue hat she'd borrowed from her sister. I watched her watch the water, and something in me just said it. Have you ever thought about leaving Thailand? She turned her head slightly. Why? I shrugged. I don't know, just wondering if you ever wanted something different? She looked back at the water. Different is not always better. I nodded slowly. But if you ever did want to go somewhere, you could visit the U.S. with me someday if that's something you'd want. She turned sharply. Why would I want that? I paused. I didn't mean anything, just a thought. She stared at me for a long time. You think I want green card? I shook my head. No, I didn't say that. But you thought it, she said. That's why you brought it up. You think I'm playing some visa game? I opened my mouth, then closed it. The air between us changed. I was just trying to share something, I said quietly. She stood up. You share like a man who hides fear behind offers. I stayed seated. You're right, I said. I panicked. About what? She snapped. About being too happy too fast, I said. I'd been taken before. I thought if I brought it up first, maybe I could control it this time. She looked at me. You think you can control love? No, I said. I think I've forgotten what it looks like when it's real. She crossed her arms. You don't trust me. I sighed. I'm trying, but I keep hearing voices from back home. Guys who got played, people warning me. And then I look at you, and I don't know if I'm the lucky one or the stupid one. She stepped closer. If you don't know that by now, then maybe I'm wasting my time. That hurt. It cut through the heat, the noise, everything. I'm sorry, I said. I shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have thought it, she said. I never asked for America. I never asked for rescue. I showed you my world, and now you want to change the location like that changes the truth? I thought I was being generous, I muttered. She laughed, but not kindly. Generous is not offering something I never wanted. I stood up. Molly. She looked away. No. This is good. Now I see where you still live. You're in your past. You're with some woman who hurt you. You just wear my face on her memory. I felt like I was falling. Everything I wanted to say was stuck behind shame. You don't need to be perfect, I said. I just need to know I'm not being led somewhere blind. She turned back to me. Then stop closing your eyes. We stood there in silence, tourists walking past behind us. No one noticed the mess unraveling 2 feet from their ice creams and selfie sticks. I like my life, she said softly. It's small, but it's mine. When I want to grow it, I'll choose how, not because someone puts America in front of me like it's the prize. I nodded. You're right. I know, she said. That's what hurts most. I reached for her hand, but she stepped back. "Not now," she said. "You need to think. You need to ask if you want me or if you want what you thought I'd be." She didn't wait for an answer. She walked away. I didn't follow. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid she'd leave me. I was afraid I'd just proved she should. 3 days. That's how long it took before I heard anything from her. And even then it wasn't a message, it was her voice, in my head, repeating the same words every night before I tried to sleep. You wear my face on her memory. I tried walking to the night market once. I passed by her stall without stopping. It was empty. No soaps. No folding table. Nothing. I stood across from it for 10 minutes, pretending to look at fried bananas. Nobody said a word. Nobody noticed. That night I scrolled through old messages. Not many. She never used words when she didn't need to. But the ones she gave me, they landed. I thought about writing something. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please talk to me." But none of them felt right. I kept hearing her voice. "You need to ask if you want me or if you want what you thought I'd be." And the truth? I didn't know anymore. I didn't go out the next day. I stayed in my room, watching the ceiling fan spin, slow. I counted the turns between regrets. On the third morning, I left a note at her stall. Just a folded paper under a smooth round soapstone. I'm not proud of how I handled that. But I meant it when I said I care. If you ever want to talk, I'll listen. No name, no pressure, just that. I walked away. That night, I didn't expect anything. I was halfway through a beer at a small bar near my hotel when my phone buzzed. One word. Coffee? I stared at it. My hands shook as I typed back, yes, anytime. Now. She was already there when I arrived. Same table, back of the cafe near the temple. She didn't look up when I sat. I said, "Thank you for this." She stirred her tea. "I didn't come to forgive you," I nodded. "Okay." "I came because I wondered if you still believe I want something from you." I shook my head. "I believe I hurt someone who didn't deserve it." She finally looked at me. Her face was calm, but there was something harder in her eyes. "I don't expect you to trust me overnight," I said, "but I want you to know I'm not here to win something. I'm just trying not to lose someone who made me feel human again." She didn't say anything. She just sipped her tea. After a long silence, she said, "You looked tired last time. You look worse now." I smiled faintly. "It's been a rough few days." "I needed space," she said. "Not because I hated you, but because I hated how quickly you doubted me." "I know," I whispered. "I saw it in your face." She looked away. "You can't love someone you don't believe." "I'm learning how to believe," I said. "And I want to learn with you." She stood up. "Then stop talking, start doing." She left a few bills on the table and walked out. She didn't invite me to follow. But this time, I did. I didn't expect her to message again. After that night, I figured that was it, her final gesture of patience. But 2 days later, right as I was thinking about booking my return flight, her name lit up my screen. "Come hungry, 7 p.m. No emoji, no explanation, just that. She opened the door wearing an oversized gray t-shirt and loose pants. "Take your shoes off," she said. "You're in my space now." I slipped them off and stepped inside. The place was small, tiled floor, 2 fans running, a low table with 2 plates already set. Curry simmered on the stove, and the whole room smelled like lemongrass and garlic. "I hope you eat spicy," she said, pouring rice onto the plates. "I don't adjust for Farang tongues." I sat on the mat. "I'll sweat through it if I have to." She raised an eyebrow. "Good." We ate quietly at first. No music, no small talk, just the sound of metal spoons and soft chewing. It should have been awkward, but it wasn't. It felt safe. After a few bites, I looked at her. "Why did you invite me tonight?" She didn't look up. "Because I needed to see if you'd still come when nothing's pretty." I nodded slowly. It's more than pretty. It's real. She put her spoon down. Real is when a man doesn't run when it's quiet, when he still shows up when there's nothing to impress him. I said, I didn't come for the curry. I know, she said. I took a breath. You made me face parts of myself I thought I'd buried. Parts I didn't want to admit were still controlling me. She looked up now. Like what? Like how I assumed you needed saving, or how I thought being generous meant being in control. She leaned back on her hands. You thought giving me options made you noble. I nodded. And I thought my past gave me the right to be cautious. But your caution made me feel small, she said. Like you were watching for a trap every time I smiled. I lowered my head. You're right. She didn't soften. I'm not here to fix your heart. I'm not your reward for being lonely. I don't want a reward, I said. I want something that isn't built on guilt or fear. She stared at me for a long time. Then stop saying what you want. Start showing me what you can give. I nodded. Okay. She stood and started clearing the plates. I reached to help, but she waved me off. Sit. I stayed seated, listening to the dishes clink in the sink. When she came back, she handed me a glass of cold water. You're sweating. I told you I would. She smiled slightly. At least you didn't pretend you liked it. I liked being here, I said, even if my mouth is on fire. She sat down again, legs crossed. You're quieter now. I'm trying to listen more, I said. You said talking too much is like putting too much salt in soup. She looked surprised. You remembered that? I remember everything you say, I told her. She stared at me like she didn't know whether to believe it. So what happens now? I didn't hesitate. I stay, if you'll let me. She reached over and touched my wrist. Not a grip, not a caress, just a pause. I don't want promises, just consistency. You'll get that, I said. She nodded. Then maybe we start from here. I didn't move. I didn't try to kiss her. I just sat in the stillness, letting that moment be enough. And for the first time since arriving in Thailand, I didn't feel like I was waiting for something to go wrong. I felt like I was home. I showed up 10 minutes early. I stood outside her building, hands in my pockets, second-guessing everything. My shirt felt too stiff, my breath too shallow. Then the door opened, and there she was, barefoot, holding a towel in one hand, her hair still wet. You're early, she said. Good, that means you're nervous. I tried to smile. I wasn't sure what to wear. She looked me up and down. It's dinner, not a visa interview. Come in. Her apartment was smaller than I imagined. One fan, one window. But it was clean, organized. Soft yellow light from a corner lamp, a table on the floor, 2 cushions, food already set. Sit, eat, no talking yet, she said. You ruined our last talk with too many words. I sat, fair enough. We ate in silence. Chicken curry, sticky rice, stir-fried vegetables. I watched her eat, the way she chewed carefully like she was measuring the weight of the moment. After a few bites, she said, You're sweating. I wiped my forehead. Your food is aggressive, she shrugged. I warned you. Thai girls don't adjust heat. She didn't laugh, but she wasn't angry either. That was new. After we finished, she cleared the plates without asking me to help. When she came back, she handed me a cold towel and sat down across from me. Why did you ask me to leave Thailand with you? I took a second. Because I wanted to offer you more. She narrowed her eyes. More of what? I hesitated. Opportunity, safety, a better life. She looked away. So you think your country is better than mine? My stomach turned. That's not what I meant. She locked eyes with me. But that's what you think. I shook my head. I wanted to include you in my world. Without asking if I wanted that world, she said. I nodded slowly. You're right. She leaned back, crossed her arms. You thought you were giving, but you were still leading. I breathed in through my nose. I didn't see that. You didn't want to, she said. You wanted to be the good man. I looked at her, really looked. You make me want to be better, but I'm still learning how. That landed. She didn't speak for a moment. Then she said, I don't want America. I don't want a passport or a promise. I want someone who doesn't disappear when I tell the truth. I nodded. I'll stay, here, however you need me. Not as a hero, she said. No, I answered, just as myself. She reached forward and touched my hand. It wasn't romantic. It was permission. You were scared, she said. I know that feeling. I still am, I whispered. So am I, she said. But I came back anyway. That should mean something. I swallowed hard. It means everything. She smiled, just a little. Then let's not waste it. I stayed late that night. We didn't kiss. We didn't touch again. We just talked. She told me about her father's death, about raising her niece for a year, about the time she almost moved to Singapore but backed out last minute. I told her about my ex-wife, my adult kids, my failures in silence. She said, "This is what intimacy looks like." I said, "I didn't know it could be this quiet." She nodded. The right kind of quiet. When I left, she walked me to the stairs. I turned and said, "I'm not perfect." She looked at me. Good. I don't want perfect. I want present. That night, I lay in bed with no TV, no scrolling, just stillness. Her voice in my ear, her truth in my chest, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. We started moving like a rhythm after that night, no big gestures, no labels. Just mornings where I'd bring her coffee before her stall opened, and evenings where she'd hand me leftover mango slices in silence, both of us knowing what the other needed without asking. She never asked for anything, no gifts, no plans, but she let me stay, and that meant more than anything anyone had ever bought me. One afternoon, I walked with her through a quiet temple garden near Old Town. It was raining just enough to keep the crowds away. She pointed at a stone bench under a Bodhi tree and said, "Sit. I like this one." We sat together, watching raindrops hit the pond. She said, "You still have a return ticket?" I hesitated. "I canceled it." She glanced sideways. "Why?" "I didn't want to leave something that felt like it was just beginning." She nodded slowly. "I thought maybe you'd change your mind. I'm not good at fast," I said. "But this feels like the first thing in years I didn't want to run from." She leaned back against the bench. "And your family? Your life in America?" I looked at the pond. "My kids are grown. They check in once a month, if that. I had a house, a routine, silence. This is something else. Something alive." She closed her eyes for a moment. "My mother wants me to come home to Chiang Rai. Do you want that?" She shrugged. "I miss her, but not the expectations." "What expectations? Marriage? Babies? Cooking for a man who never thanks me?" I turned toward her. "What if I thanked you every day?" She smiled without opening her eyes. "Then maybe I'd cook." We stayed quiet a long time. Later, we stopped at her sister's house. Her niece ran out to hug her. I stood back, watching. I'd seen families before, but this wasn't a show. It was real. Lived in. Tangled and simple all at once. Her sister pulled me aside while Molly washed dishes. "She never brings men twice," she said. "I think she believes you." I nodded, not knowing what to say. Back at her place that night, I sat on the edge of the bed while she cleaned up. I said, "Would you come with me? Not to America, just wherever I end up." She didn't look surprised. "You want me to leave my world?" "No," I said. "I want to build one with you. From scratch. Anywhere." She dried her hands. "You still think this is love?" "I don't know what else to call it," I said, "but it feels like peace." She looked at me for a long time. No wedding, no papers, just honesty. I nodded. That's more than enough. She stepped closer and sat beside me. Then yes, I'll go where you go, as long as I don't lose myself doing it. I took her hand, and I'll never ask you to. We didn't celebrate. We didn't post about it. We just woke up the next morning and started looking at small rentals in Chiang Mai. A quieter city. A new beginning. No visa talk, no timelines. Just two people packing up the life they'd known, to build one neither of them planned. It's been 2 years now. I still wake up early, but it's no longer because I'm alone or restless. It's because the light filters in through the bamboo curtains, and Molly always stirs before me, stretching quietly like a cat before slipping out to water her plants. We live in a small house just outside Chiang Mai. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a garden big enough for her herbs and a few noisy birds. Nothing fancy, but it's ours. Some mornings we walk to the market holding hands. Some days we don't speak until noon. But there's no tension in the silence. Just space. She always said real connection is when you can be quiet together and still feel seen. I believe her now. I work online a few hours a week, mostly to keep my mind sharp. She sells her soaps again. New scents, new labels. Tourists buy them up fast, but she never haggles. Fair price or no price, she says. That's how she's always been, unbending in the ways that matter. Last month, her mother visited. I watched them sit on the floor together, slicing vegetables and humming the same tune under their breath. Her mother looked at me once and said, "She chose you. That means you did something right." I didn't know how to answer. I just nodded and brought them more tea. We never did the wedding, never wore rings, but every night I lay beside her and feel a kind of safety I never knew existed. Not because she promised to stay, but because she stays without needing to. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I let fear win. If I'd gone home when I panicked. If I'd never walked back into that market after our fight. But then I remind myself, none of that matters now. What matters is that I stayed long enough to see past my own damage, long enough to see who she really was, long enough to stop running. People ask me what I found in Thailand. I don't say love. I say this: I found a woman who didn't need me, but still chose me. And I found the version of myself I thought was gone forever. Quiet, calm, and finally enough.